Jennifer sat at the edge of the communal dining hall on Station Kepler 442, her empty tray resting before her like a monument to bureaucratic cruelty. The automated food dispenser had denied her request 3 times now, its cold mechanical voice repeating the same message. Insufficient credits. Human metabolic requirements exceed allocated resources. She'd known the posting would be difficult. Humans were still novelties in this sector, their presence tolerated but not celebrated among the galactic collective's established species. But she hadn't expected to be starved. Across the hall, Jack noticed her predicament. He'd been working the mining operation on the station's lower levels for 6 months now, long enough to recognize that particular slump in Jennifer's shoulders. The defeat that came from fighting a system designed to crush you. He approached quietly, his boots echoing against the metallic floor. "They denied you again," he said, not quite a question. Jennifer nodded, too exhausted to elaborate. The collective's resource management AI had deemed humans excessive consumers, compared to species like the Trilaxians, who could subsist on mineral supplements, or the Vosk, whose photosynthetic skin reduced their caloric needs by half. Never mind that humans were doing twice the physical labor with a fraction of the accommodation. Before Jack could offer his own meager ration, a curious sound emerged from the corner of the hall, a soft chittering that both humans had come to recognize over the past weeks. A family of Cathara, the station's most recent refugees, occupied the shadowed alcove. They were small, barely reaching Jennifer's waist, with large luminous eyes and fur that shimmered between silver and blue, depending on the light. The youngest ones, 3 cubs that Jennifer had helped rescue from a malfunctioning airlock 2 weeks prior, watched her with intense focus. "Don't," Jennifer whispered to Jack, seeing him reach for his own ration card. "You need it for your shift." But the Cathara cubs were already moving. The first one, whom Jennifer privately called Spark because of the static electricity that crackled in its fur, approached with tiny, deliberate steps. In its small paws, it carried a portion of protein gel, standard collective fare that tasted like nothing and everything simultaneously. Without ceremony, Spark dropped the portion onto Jennifer's tray, then scurried back to its family. Jennifer's throat tightened. "No, I can't." The second cub, Shimmer, was already approaching with a carbohydrate wafer. Then came the third, Whisper, with a crystallized fruit supplement that was probably the cub's favorite treat. The adult Cathara watched silently, their expressions unreadable in the way of species whose emotions didn't translate directly to human interpretation, but they didn't stop their young ones. "Jennifer," Jack said softly, his voice rough with emotion. "Take it." Other species in the hall began to notice. A Trilaxian miner paused mid-conversation. A Vosk administrator's head turned, its photoreceptors focusing on the scene. The room fell into a peculiar silence, broken only by the hum of the station's life support systems. Then something remarkable happened. A Trilaxian worker Jennifer had once helped repair a suit regulator approached. It set down a mineral supplement bar, specially formulated for cross-species consumption. "Debt repaid," it said in its clicking language translated by the universal communicator. A Vosk she'd never even spoken to added a ration pack. "You fixed my daughter's oxygen converter." I was remiss in gratitude. More came. A Quellan engineer, a Heptari navigator, a Draxi security officer who Jennifer had once covered for during a family emergency. They remembered every small kindness, every moment of humanity that Jennifer and Jack had shown in a station that ran on cold efficiency. Within minutes, Jennifer's tray overflowed. She stared at the mountain of food, her vision blurring with tears she refused to let fall. Jack placed a hand on her shoulder. "This is what they don't understand about us," he said quietly. "They built their collective on logic and resource management, but we built ours on something they can't quantify." Jennifer nodded, finally allowing herself to smile. She picked up a portion of the protein gel, the one Spark had brought, and took a bite. It tasted like every other ration she'd ever eaten, bland and functional. But somehow it also tasted like hope. The Cathara cubs chittered happily, their fur sparking with pleasure. Their mother approached then, standing tall despite her small stature. She spoke in her native tongue, which the translator rendered. "You saved my children when the station's AI deemed them non-priority rescues. You risked your safety for those the system did not value. This is how we answer such mathematics." Jennifer met the mother's huge, luminous eyes, Thank you, she whispered. That evening, a formal complaint was filed with the collective's Resource Management Division. It wasn't submitted by Jennifer or Jack, but by a coalition of 63 different species on Station Kepler 442. The complaint detailed every instance of human contribution to station operations, every life saved, every system repaired, every kindness shown. The AI's response came within hours. Recalculating human resource allocation. Priority status upgraded, but Jennifer knew the truth. The system hadn't changed because of data or logic. It had changed because cubs had quietly dropped their food onto her plate, and in doing so, had reminded an entire station what it meant to be more than calculations and efficiency ratings. It meant remembering that survival wasn't just about resources. It was about who you chose to share them with. Even when the system said you shouldn't, especially then. That night, Jennifer and Jack shared their overflow of rations with others who had been similarly denied. The food went around hand to hand, species to species, until everyone had eaten, and in the cold mathematics of space, a small warm equation emerged. Humanity plus compassion multiplied by community equals something no AI could deny. The cubs watched from their alcove, fur shimmering with contentment, having learned their own lesson, that sometimes the smallest gestures echo loudest through the void.